Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm delighted and really excited to have this opportunity. First of all, I want to thank all of you who are day in and day out sharing with us the concerns, the pains, and the complexity of the situation which we are engaged in. And today is just the 38th day since the October 7th, which probably has changed Israel in many ways forever. Israel of today is an entirely different country from what it was only 6 weeks ago. One of the most important things, perhaps the most important thing, is that we are all united. Prior to October 7th, as you all know, we had divisions and demonstrations and riots and arguments and many disagreements within us. They have not disappeared, but they have been set aside because right now there is something which is a lot more important for all of us. And this is to, first of all, to save the hostages, the 239 hostages, which are still kept by Hamas, somewhere underground, on ground, in one corner or another corner of Gaza. We don't know exactly, at least I don't know. I hope that our government agencies perhaps at this time know a little bit more. And I know that they are doing every possible effort to try and find them out. You have to be very careful when you hear all kinds of news. A lot is fake. Not always everything that is publicized about a deal that is imminent every moment, and that tens or more of the hostages are going to be released, and that there is one kind of a deal or another kind of a deal. We don't know. Right now, first of all, the Israeli soldiers are fighting. This is a very unusual event. It was not initiated by us. As you all know, we were forced to do it because the Israelis were attacked. And they were attacked and killed and butchered and slaughtered and beheaded and raped in their own houses, something that is very exceptional, even in the world of many atrocities which we live in various parts of the world. We always thought that this will not happen to us, and it did. And this is a great source of despair and of sadness and of disappointment, and also of a resolve that we have to do everything that something like that will never happen again. And the Israeli counteroffensive in Gaza became inevitable. I knew from day one when it started, and I was then interviewed by Christian Amanpour for CNN, and she expressed her sympathies, as perhaps did everyone. I said that I know right then, I know that in 2, 3, 4 days, when the Israeli counter attack will take place, that the attitude of the international community will change. Because the memory is very short and people remember for 1 or 2 or 3 days what happened to us, but now they will watch the pictures and the sights coming from Gaza when the Israeli soldiers will attack them. The Israeli Air Force will bomb their bunkers and their headquarters and where they are hiding, and the attitude will change, and all the sympathy and the understanding and the support will eventually disappear. And unfortunately, we have seen it, and it's depressing, but this is not something that can deter us or stop us from doing what needs to be done. And what needs to be done, and this is the main objective of the Israeli army, is to try this time to do what we failed to do until recently, which is to break down completely the military capacity of the Hamas. I know that there are all kinds of statements made, sometimes perhaps slightly exaggerated, that Hamas will vanish, will disappear, will not exist completely. All of them will be killed. Easier said than accomplished. It's difficult. But I can say that I'm very encouraged by the performance of the Israeli army. We are doing it in a very careful manner, I must emphasize. We really don't want to cause unnecessary collateral damage. We definitely don't we don't have any war with innocent, non-involved civilians. And most of the people living in Gaza are such. But there are very many who are part of Hamas, who assisted Hamas, who helped them hide in various places, who helped them install their launching pads in the residences of people in their houses where from they can shoot, and then they can use the innocent civilians or the non-involved civilians as a human shield to protect the Hamas. So there is a difficult situation, but we are not going to acquiesce with the protest of people. Some of them are good-willing and are supporters of the state of Israel who can't swallow the sights that they see, and they want Israel to stop it, to accept a ceasefire. The position of the overwhelming majority of people in Israel is we don't stop. We don't stop before we have accomplished what we need to accomplish, which is to reach out for wherever they hide. At this time being, we are now surrounding some of the public facilities and the hospitals that are used as a hiding place for the Hamas headquarters. They built their bunkers underneath the buildings of the hospitals, assuming that since we, the Israelis, are honest and are decent and are sensitive to public opinion, we will not dare attack those facilities because of the possible danger to the civilians that were hiding there. In the Shifa hospital, by the way, in the Shifa hospital, you should know, up until a month ago, every month, 50 operations were performed by Israeli physicians coming to Shifa, helping to save people there, working as physicians to assist people that are in acute danger for their lives, coming from Israel and then going back. That was the attitude that characterized the people of Israel. Many of them, by the way, lived in the Otef Aza, in all of these kibbutzim and moshavim, which were devastated by the Palestinians. Many of them were volunteers that helped Palestinians, were driving them from Gaza to Israeli hospitals and back on a voluntary basis almost every day in order to help them. And they were amongst the first victims of these atrocious attacks that was carried out against us since October 7th. But so now we are not going to compromise. We are not going to accept a ceasefire. We are not going to stop. We are going to carry on. And we must say that until now, the attitude of the American administration was exemplary. If there was any doubt, I think it is quite clear now that President Biden and his administration manifested the greatest support, friendship, and devotion to the security of Israel, to the lives of Israelis, and to the need to defend the state of Israel from any possible ramifications of what has happened. Not only that the America sent 2 plane carriers and 1 atomic submarine and American soldiers, but the statements that the president made and the commitment of America to stand by Israel and to allow Israel to continue to do its duty in defending the state of Israel is a source of great encouragement and excitement for the people of Israel. This is something that has never been done in this manner in the entire history of the relations between the two countries. It's also true that we have never before been in a similar situation where the actual participation of the American military power and political power was as needed as it was in the last 6 weeks as a result of the attack. And also we have to say, and we all admit in the failure of our system to provide the initial defense and protection which was expected to our people. What happened, why it happened, what were the mistakes, who is responsible for it? I think that most of us know, but it's not something that I want to talk to you about right now. We'll find a time after the battle is over in order to deal with it. Now, what we have to do is to continue in this military thrust and at the same time to open our eyes and our alertness and awareness to the north border of Israel. As you may have mentioned before, in 2006, we were attacked by Hezbollah in the north, and we responded in a very devastating way that kept the Hezbollah quiet for 17 years. They didn't dare shoot one bullet across the border from Lebanon to Israel since August of 2006, more than 17 years. But recently, as a result of the developments in the south, the Hezbollah is involved presently in all kinds of skirmishes in the north, shooting rockets against Israeli targets. We had some casualties already. They had a lot more. But I can guarantee you that at this time now, based on what I know, the Israeli army is prepared in the north for any eventuality, and the Israeli Air Force, which is a threat that they are familiar with on the basis of what they have learned in the past, is mostly focused on the north rather than in the south, where we have ground forces, to the event that the Hezbollah will try to expand the hostilities far beyond what they have done up until now. I still remember that a couple of days after the 2006 Second Lebanese War, Sheikh Nasrallah, who was then the leader of, still is the leader of Hezbollah, he said, had he known 1% of what my reaction would be then, he wouldn't have started. So I kept saying now in my different interviews, public interviews, and many others of the government and military leaders told him, don't forget what you thought and you felt after the 2006 war, and you better watch it because this time it will be a lot worse. And you will regret the day that you will make a mistake and start again any comprehensive missile shooting to the townships and villages near the border or much further than the Israeli-Lebanese border. So as of today, we are focusing on 4 major targets. One is to continue the ground operation in Gaza, and it's a very efficient and very painful for the Hamas, and it will continue. And it's done as I said before, in a very careful manner. One of the reasons why we forced many of the residents of Gaza to move down south is in order to pull them out of the urban center so that we will be freer to act, to fight there without having to worry about the possible consequences to non-involved civilians. This is one major effort that we're making. The other major effort, of course, is to make sure that not any unexpected developments will take place in the north border. And there are confrontations on a daily basis, many yesterday, perhaps more than before. Today, it's a little bit quieter, but it can erupt any minute. We are ready there with a lot of military power, a major part of the Israeli Air Force, drones, F-16, F-15, F-35, they are all ready. And we will make sure that we will not be surprised in a similar manner to what has happened in the south. Third is, of course, to take care of all the residents of the south and the north, which had to leave their homes in order to be away from the rocket shooting. And we have to take care of them. It's a major undertaking. Hundreds of thousands of people, both from the south and from the north, who now have to be taken care of. And there is an unbelievable movement of voluntary participation of thousands and thousands and thousands of Israelis, of just citizens of the state of Israel, who are extending their hands and their hearts and their homes and their properties and everything that they have in order to make the lives of the people that were forced out of their homes in both the north and the south, to make it much more comfortable and easier to absorb for as long as it will be needed. And finally, perhaps first, is the worry for the hostages. There is not much that can be said about it, and I have to be very careful. And I don't think that we should discuss publicly what should be the conditions for a deal of this nature or of the other nature. There is a fundamental obligation of the country, of the state, of the government, of our leadership to do everything in order to save them and bring them back home. There can be no compromise, no excuses, nothing that will prevent us from doing everything in our power to bring them back. They are not, most of the hostages are not soldiers, they are citizens that were pulled out from their homes and taken hostages. With military, sometimes you may have all kinds of arrangements that are made, and it's a different story. But nothing can justify not doing everything that we have, invest every resource that is under our command to bring back citizens that were pulled out from their homes and are now already 38 days in some places that may be terrible. Children of 2 years old, of 8 years old, of 10 years old, their parents, their mothers, their fathers, and elderly people. Some of them are not well physically and they need treatment, and we don't know what kind of treatment they may have there. And so this is an urgent and something that we can't wait in order to resolve, and we're making every possible effort everywhere, in every corner of the world where we can reach out for those that can facilitate this. And hopefully, sooner than later, we'll be able to do it. But again, I don't think that we can go into the specifics of what can be done and should be done, because it really involves the lives of these people who are not in the hands of Israel or in the control of our forces to provide them the immediate protection that they need. Finally, I want to say this. The country is strong. The people are strong. The spirit of the people of Israel is very much in this feeling that this is a test for the resolve of the state of Israel to provide the security and the protection to our country and to our citizens everywhere they are. It is very, very significant to find and to know that our Jewish brethren everywhere are with us. They care for us, they share with us, they feel for us, they cry for us, and they will fight for us. So I want to thank you for your involvement and your care. And I promise you, it will take some time. I don't know how much longer. I know that the international community is losing some patience because of the sites that come across all the media of seeing thousands and tens of thousands of Palestinians walking away from their residences into the south of Gaza, and to see the destruction of many parts of Gaza. The time will come that will provide all the explanations and all the will make all the arguments that can justify what we do. Right now, we have to do and not to apologize, because this is a war for the basic fundamental rights that every country and every people everywhere believe that they deserve. And we think that we deserve it just as well, and we'll do everything in order to protect it.